Today it's about my happy stones. So I want to first just show you some of my stones. These are plain. This one is a piece of marble. And for those of you who are in Delhi, I bought them on the MG road when we were allowed to move around and we were free. And I bought all shapes and sizes. So my journey with stones actually started because, well, we of course painted them when we were in school and things like that. But they also began because on Instagram, I found a lot of people were painting stones. And I was quite charmed by this. And I still have a beautiful round stone. I have two. One is just a beautiful round stone that a student of mine who is now definitely in her 20s. I'm not sure, maybe Karthik, she was with me when you guys were in school. Her parents were building a house or whatever, and she brought me this stone. And I loved it, and I just kept it. It's nothing, it's just a polished piece of marble. The other is a stone that I picked up when I was in Darjeeling, I think. And it has beautiful lines on it. And I was always fascinated by it. A third is from another student who had painted on it and given it to me. So I've had this love affair with stones for the longest time. And I naturally then moved towards stones and I picked them up. And if you notice, as I'm speaking to you, I'm holding it and I'm playing with it. And that's what I love about stones. They're very tactile. When you hold them, of course, there's a weight to them. There's a solidity to them. There's also definitely, hi Dolly, there's also definitely a feeling of stability when you hold a stone. And that's what I love. I love that feeling of calmness. Hi, Swati. I really love that feeling when I'm holding a stone. And so it was very natural for me to then start painting stones. So I'll show you a couple that I've painted and then I'll come to my happy stones. They're all happy stones. So this is a mandala that I made. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having to go from screen to screen since I've got 3 screens in front of me and I'm trying to show you a close up. So it's of course in my favorite sunshine colors. And actually I love reds and bright colors, but somehow I was drawn to these very muted sunshine colors. And it was just so mindful, so calming, so enjoyable to make this. And one of the things that I find, and maybe that's why I keep playing with the stone, is that the stone seems to speak to you. It tells you what it wants to be. It tells you what to make of it. And this stone, interestingly, wanted to be a fish. It just wanted to be a fish. So that's the front of it. And on the side of it, it's a fish. I hope you can see it. It's a fish on the sides, and yet the front is also a fish. This one also wanted to be a fish, but it's flat. It's just in front. Though, of course, it has a shape, but it's just the front of it. And this one I did sometime late at night. It was just, I picked it up and fish, and I made the fish. Here's a beetle. Again, it's one of those slightly triangular stones. And I guess I must have been looking at something where there were beetles on it, and it was very clearly wanting to be a shiny blue beetle. So that's what I made. This one is a very interesting one. I have a larger one which I think I've now packed. It's slightly flat on its base, and it's got a little triangular sort of shape to it. And I had been dreaming of painting Ganesh. I woke up wanting to paint Ganesh. And there are these two stones. Like I said, one is packed, but I did pull out the little one, where the moment I picked them up, it was like Ganesh. And if you see, I haven't done too much to it. I've actually just followed its lines and I've made it into a Ganesh. And that's what I mean, that the stones speak to you. The stones tell you what they want to do and how they want to be. So I'm going to move fairly quickly to my happy stones because I think that's what you'd like to know. Here are some more stones. This one I haven't yet worked on. I've just cleaned it, so I soak them. I prepare them by soaking them first and making sure they're not dusty. And then some of them I give a base coat and some I don't. And I usually use acrylics. So this one again, if you can see, it has, it's got markings on it. These are not indents, it's just part of what it is. So there are times when I look at it and I see a spider. There are times when, of course, beetles happen. What I've done is to just give it a very light pearl kind of finish. And I'm waiting. The correct day will happen, the correct time will happen, and I will pick it up and I will paint it. And sometimes, I'm sure if you've been on my page, you'll have seen that there are videos of some of these where I was just playing on my turntable. So I've prepared these stones. This is a fairly heavy one. I've prepared them. I somehow love shiny paints. So I have used shiny paint and prepared them. And let's see what happens to them. Very often I have paint left on my brush after I've been painting something else. And I don't know if it's that I'm a miser at heart, but I can't bear to waste. So since I can't bear to waste, I often do this. I'll just clean it up onto a canvas, or I'll paint the base of a stone and wait for the correct time and day for me to actually work on that stone. Okay, so now I want to share my happy stones with you. I'm going to try and get these out of the way. My happy stones are again interesting. When I went shopping for my stones, since I don't get to go and actually pick them up from a riverside or whatever, riverbed or whatever, I found these round stones. I was very charmed by them. I knew at that time that I had no clue what I would do with them, but I just found them very interesting. So I just picked up 5 or 6 of them. And then, like I said, I wait for the right time, the right day when inspiration will hit. And I painted one of them. And it was lying there. It was painted. That particular one is gifted. But it was painted and it was waiting. And finally, it hit me. These are happiness stones. So what is it? I'm going to take them closer to the camera, and then I'll please, if you would like to make one, I would love for you to make one. What I did was, again, I was just thinking about what we are all going through. And one of the first things that had happened to me was that we all have virtues, right? We all have this whole wealth of compassion, of love, of gratitude, of wanting to just reach out to the world with what's great inside us. And so that's what was coming up for me. And it was those virtues that I was thinking about. And so I began to write on the stone. So as you see, I've written compassion. I don't know if you can make out. I've written joy. I know it comes ulta for you. I've written joy. I've written warmth. And that's what my happy stones are. I made a stone in which I also realized that all of us are stuck at home and we're finding ways in which to maintain our health and to exercise. So there's one that goes hop, sing, walk, jump. It's just got some of the actions that we could do. And similarly, so I've got quite a few of them. There's love, breathe. We need to remember to breathe. And again, of course, it's got joy, it's got peace, it's got happiness. So these are my happy stones. And how do they work? Very simple. You either keep them where you meditate or keep them by your bedside, keep them wherever you want. And exactly what I was doing, you pick up your stone, you play with it, you want to meditate on it, you want to just hold it. And then whatever comes up for you, right now what's come up for me is breathe. So I obviously need to take a breath and go a bit slower in what I'm saying to you, because I'm getting quite excited about what I'm sharing. So that's what it is. So it tells you, so it could be your word for the day. It could be your inspiration for that moment. I ran out of stones. So I made these, okay? Now you can make out they're fairly crushed and of course painted with shiny colors. So I'm not sure if you can read also what's written on them. It says sing, plant, hum, color, smile. All right, I made a couple of these and I'm going to show you what I did. So if you don't have a stone or you don't have something that could be a stone, you can make one for yourself. These are also very tactile. So I wanted something where if I hold it, I want to press on it a bit. As you can see, I'm putting a bit of pressure. I want to be able to roll it in my hand. There should be something in my hand. You can, of course, use a squeezy ball, those smiley balls. Of course, you can use one of those. But all I did was, here is again me saving things. So this is a piece of news. This is a newspaper from which I cut out pictures. All I did was to crush the newspaper. Hi, Mahima. Hi, Indrani. Sorry, as I told you, I'm on 3 screens. So all I did was to crush it. Okay, and it's actually about half of a sheet of a newspaper. You want it bigger, you can add more to it. And now you need it to stay like a ball, right? You need to be able to color it. You need to be able to write on it. So, and again, here is thrifty me pulling out old things. Here are bills that I received. So I just tore them into strips. I'm trying that by the end of it, I will have stuck the strips and I will have the white side outside. So for those who joined just now, I was talking about my happiness stones, which are small round stones on which I have written little things, little reminders, little virtues, little actions that will make me feel good for the day. So this one has breathe, joy, love, compassion, happiness. It's got things like that. All right. So, sorry. So that's what it is. And then since I ran out of stones, I started making bigger ones out of paper. And that's what I'm showing you. All right. So all you need then is a bit of glue. And you take your strips and you put some glue on your strips. I've thinned down my Fevicol because I'm running out of Fevicol and I do a lot of pasting work. And you just keep pasting the strips. You keep overlapping the strips so that you have, and you make sure, so that you cover the entire thing. And you make sure that you spread the glue so that it's, these edges also come, they get cover, they stick down. So your hands are going to get a bit dirty. You can try with a brush. I find hands work best, and that's what I'm pasting down on them. And then you will need to give it a little while to dry. Okay. In case you don't have acrylics, since I said that I use acrylics, but you've got maybe just a pen, that's fine. Who said it had to be colorful? It could just be with pen and ink where you're writing over it. Or if you've got poster colors, then here's a little neat trick. You've got poster colors or watercolors. You will need to wait for this to dry. Don't try and paint it while it's wet. Don't try and write on it while it's wet, because it'll smudge. But after you have allowed it to dry, and to dry you need to give it a good couple of hours, maybe longer. Okay, so that it's really nice and dry. So as you can see, I'm talking to you and I'm covering it up, and I've kept lots of bills which I'm tearing up and I'm cheerfully using for this activity. So if you're using watercolors or poster colors or sketch pens, and you want to ensure that it's got a shiny finish, or at least that when you are playing with them, the color shouldn't come off onto your hands, then all you need to do is actually what I've done. Take your Fevicol, thin it. Thank you so much, Asha Didi. Thin it with a bit of water. So half and half is great. You can put a little more water if you like. And once everything is dry, give a very quick, after you've written what you wanted to write, you have designed it in whatever way. As you noticed, on some of these stones, I had just put little dots. I haven't done anything too dramatic because it's the words that matter. On some of them, I've done flowers. On these, I couldn't do much more, so I just did dots. Okay, I don't know if you could see those flowers. On some, this one I could because those are stones, so I've added some hearts around it. But that's okay. This one I did nothing. It had so many colors, I just didn't do anything to it. I just wrote the words. So here's the ball. It's still needing a little neatening, so I'll do that. And then I will leave it to dry. And after it's dry, again, let inspiration strike. If there's one thing I've learned, it's to listen to your instinct. It's to listen to your heart. So listen to whatever comes up for you and write it. It's fine to look up Google for those words. You can look up for positive words. You can write a mantra on it. You can write so many things. You want to write Om on it. You want to make, those signs that help you. Whatever works for you. And yes, of course, this is something children could do, and they don't have to write. They can make the balls and they can color them and they can use them as something that they play with. So here you are. See, wherever I'm finding that it's still sticking out, there's no right and wrong, right? So you just keep covering it up. And now, like I said, I'm going to have to wait for at least an hour, maybe longer, for it to dry. And then only will I be able to do anything further to it. So while I wait for that to happen, we've finished almost half an hour. So this was what my happy stones are about. I would love if you make it and if you share it in the comments. I'd really love to know what you make out of it. Thank you, Sumita, Swati. Super to know that you liked it. And thanks. I'm just reading all the comments. Hi, Kanika. How nice to see you. So this was a very simple, easy thing that you can make for yourself. And what's to stop you playing with it? The whole thing is keep yourself happy, right? You want to toss it and then see. So sing came up and I can't sing. So that's fine. Have fun with it. You want to toss it to someone else and see what happens to them. Use it to play a game. How super. It will be lovely if you could do that. So I would love if you would share in the comments if you try it and what you do with it. I would really love to know that. So I'd love to know what it looks like, what you write on it, and how you use it. And even if you don't write on it, how do you use it? Because ultimately what you've got is a nice little ball, light, it won't hurt anybody, and you can have a lot of fun with it. So thank you so much. It was so super to know that there were so many of you at 3 in the afternoon coming on to watch me and engage with me. Thanks so much for being here. I'm loving my live sessions. So I'm hoping to see some of you again on Monday. See you. I'm ending, and you will now see me ending on 3 devices. So see you. Bye bye, and thank you.